Greetings, lovely citizens from beautiful planet of Hearthstone. This is first episode of my little series about the best ships for off-gridding. And today we are taking a closer look to the Drake Vulture. If you like off-gridding, probably you like also ships with great interior, and in my opinion, Vulture is one of the best ships for solo player to live off-grid. We have great interior here, with a storage 650k, like in Qatar, of course. Toilet, we have also here component access to the various things. Armor locker. And small gun rack for 2 rifles and 3 guns or multi-tools, which is, in my opinion, more than enough for a solo player. The downside of this great interior is accessibility. We need to go from the cargo part of the Vulture with a ladder up, and here we go. Or we can use this ladder here to climb straight to the cockpit. This is actually pretty good in Vulture. Accessibility to cockpit is great because you have secondary entrance. This is very important in this ship. But if you want to take, for example, 3 guns, 2 on the back, like me right now, and 1 in the hands, you have a bad day because you need 3 hands to climb these ladders. So this is little bit of downside if we're talking about accessibility inside of the Vulture. This is, to be honest, not very big deal. And interior, if we're talking about living off-grid, is very important because, I think there is 2 reasons for player to live off-grid, live outside of the cities, outside of the spaceports. First, you want to have quick access to your gear, and you don't want to waste time to pack everything into your ship, or you don't want to waste time to gear up over and over again as you start your playthrough. You don't want to go to the terminal, retrieve ship, waste time for clunky and often very buggy elevators. You just live in your ship, you log out, for example, in space, and you are good to go straight away. So this is first reason, very important reason. If you are looking only to this, maybe you don't need a very nice interior with a lot of gun racks, with a lot of storage, with places where you can put, for example, your noodles and your crews, like me here. But other, in my opinion, also very important reason is simply pure immersion. So nice interior in the ship, and in my opinion, this rugged and industrial interiors in the Drake ships is very, very nice and immersive. It's also very important reason to choose this particular ship over other solo ships in the verse, because this is also important. I am reviewing solo playable ships. This is not need to be pure solo one-seater fighter or something like this. It need to be a ship you can operate solo, and you don't need to depend to other players. Another big feature in the Drake Vulture is nice open cargo bay with a classic ramp. Very easy and convenient to load and unload cargo from here. You can slap here looted things, boxes with FPS equipment looted in bunkers or other locations where FPS missions are. You can also slap here RMC or other cargo you find in the verse organically, for example. Last time I created video about organic gameplay and that was pretty fun. I had a lot of good time there. And the most important thing about Vulture is that it's a salvage ship. Even if you don't find anything, you can go and scrap some panels and still make some money in the verse. So, Vulture, if we're talking about solo ships, Vulture right now is probably the best money maker in the game. Oh, it's a little bit dark right now in the Picker's field, but I will be okay. Here I found previously two boxes. This is pretty weird because around the places like Rappel and Pickersfield, we can find right now sometimes abandoned cargo, and often it's very valuable cargo. Let's take a look on these two boxes. And another nice thing about Vulture is, even if you land like me, like an idiot, without landing gear, even if you land on the uneven terrain, you still have access to your ship because of this very convenient and useful ladder. This is perfect. Okay, here we have a first box. Bexalite. It's couple of thousands. Yesterday I found 16 SCU of Weevil eggs lying around Rappel. That was pretty fun. So that was a great find. And somewhere here is another box. Probably another box of Bexalite. We can sell this in the Lorville. And I'm not sure, it's probably similar if we're talking about price to the RMC. But even if not, it's worth to take. I don't need to waste too much time for scrapping. No, I can't find it. But that was a very small box, only one SCU. So it's not a big deal. I don't need too much money right now anyway. There's some narcotics. I'm looking for Weevil eggs. This is probably Altrusha toxin. Oh, it's Widow. Even better. So I don't really know what is going on these locations. Maybe it's intended. I put this like this. Now I land somewhere here. Very slowly. And I'm happy that I found it because we can test this cargo bay very easy right now. Alright. So, as I told you previously, a cargo bay in the Drake Vulture is pretty convenient for a small amount of loot or small amount of cargo. But the downside of the Drake Vulture is combat capabilities. This is industrial ship, so we can't really compete with other ships if we're talking about combat. Let's fly away. I sell this cargo and we will talk a little bit about of specs. I arrived to scrapyard on Hurston and I found more boxes, but these boxes are under the ground. But there is something else around. Polaris. This is a lot of salvage here. Lot of salvage. But first let's offload this narcotics. Okay, everything is ready. Atex SU of Widow here. There is Star Lancer, but it's hovering. I don't think he wants to go here. Let's sell the stuff first. And we can sell it for 100 and almost 9,000. Beautiful day on reclamation and disposal, Orin. Maybe I try to reach this Polaris. Okay, cargo bay of Polaris is opened. This is perfect. I need to go inside and cut off the power completely because of this automatic turrets around Polaris. If I start to scrape this ship right now, they will shoot at me. And I don't want this. So I try to land inside. Very, very slowly. Okay. Vulture fits somewhat inside of Polaris. And I think we can still close the hangar bay, which is nice. Maybe it's not enough space to offload the Vulture inside of Polaris, but at least we can transport this ship in the capital ship. And this is pretty nice because Drake Vulture have a outstandingly low amount of quantum fuel, and additional transport is always very appreciated. Lot of doors. Tell me in the comment who is flying Polaris solo. This ship is definitely too big for me. System off. So before I start to salvage, let's look at the specs on aircool.games about this outstanding solo ship, Drake Vulture. Alright, Drake Vulture, I choose the 4.0 PTU build because this is probably the most interesting for us right now. Standard loadout is pretty weak, especially if we're talking about weapons. If you want to at least defend yourself for smaller PvE targets, I highly recommend to swap the weapons for example, attrition size 1, but we see size 1 under 1 salvaged laser repeater. So this is probably available in the game in the PTU right now, size 1s. So this is not a price for safe Stanton event. This is probably available in the contested zones. I don't know, so I still use attrition for this loadout, because you can simply go to Hearthstone and buy it. So we have 536 sustained DPS. Attritions are pretty slow hitting but hard hitting, so it's good for PvE. If we're talking about the combat, we can slap here 3 size 1 shields, so it's not bad at all. Bulwark, it's Industrial C shield generator, but I would swap it for the Palisade because of more HP pool and more component HP. You can always swap to the competition shield, which is even better if we're talking about pool HP, but component HP is so low that probably one missile can destroy it. So I'm swapping it for Palisade. Here we go. We need also to upgrade the power plants. I go for JS 300 or Quadrasol. This is pretty the same. We can swap coolers for something cheaper if we're talking about segments, or simply leave empty one of the slot and find the most sturdy cooler like this Glacier Military A. Power generation right now in this loadout is maxed out, but if you want to have 100 resistance multiplier, you need to lower even more these components and try to max out the shields. So this is a downside of multiple smaller shields. You need a lot of power to power this up. If I had here single size 2 shield, I need lot less energy to power this up, and I still would have about 600 HP. So I don't understand really why CIG placed here 3 size 1 shields instead of 1 size 2. This is not understandable for me, but maybe it's necessary because of interior construction of the Drake Vulture. I don't know. Maybe this is a reason. But as we see, if we're talking about firepower is weak as hell. It's not maybe tragical, because you can always have full power to the weapons and you always have full capacitor, but it's still 500 DPS is not much. Nice shield pull is okay. If we're talking about, look at the stats of the Vulture. If we're talking about HP, we have 35.7 thousand, 12,000 for body, which is great, but if you lose one of the front nasals, 5,000 HP, as we see, front nasal right, front nasal left, if you lose one of these arms, you are toasted, you can't simply fly. I had this situation a couple of times and I died. Main engines are not so big deal. If we lose one of this, we can still somewhat fly, but it's only 2000 HP. It's not pretty good ship for fighting, it's not nimble. As we see, we have great maneuverability here, but this is full speed of maneuverability. Accelerations in this ship is awful. We don't have also too much speed, only 200 meters per second SCM, 350 boosted. Also pretty bad. And looking at the size of the Vulture, it's not also pretty tanky. Vulture is, in my opinion, the bad choice for Pyro daily driver. So in Stanton, Vulture is outstandingly good, but in Pyro will be very bad if you fly solo and if you are treating this ship as daily driver. Especially we have here only half SCU of quantum fuel capacity. Hydrogen capacity is not very bad, it's mediocre, but we can fly a little bit in this ship like this. But quantum fuel capacity is very, very awful. We try to take a better quantum drive. Let's sort this by max distance and float. Civilian grade D is the best. I look. Okay, Vulcan Industrial Day is also nice. We have little bit more HP for this component, and also max distance is 62.5 gigameters. So we don't have even 100 gigameters here at max distance. I'm not sure if we are able to jump in the Vulture. Last time I saw that probably Captain Foxy Loxy made a jump in the Avenger Titan, and Avenger Titan have the same quantum fuel capacity, but I don't know, we need to wait, we need to test this much more, but still, Pyro is big, and you need a lot of quantum fuel to have opportunity to travel from place to place in Pyro. As we see here, we can fly from Microtech to ArcCorp, 59 gigameters. This is possible on the one fuel tank, but this fuel tank will be almost dry out if we do this jump in Stanton. So this is one of it's probably the biggest jump we can do in this ship right now in the game, from Microtech to ArcCorp. And this is surprising for me. I am scraping right now this Polaris, and the RMC density on the whole, it's not pretty good, to be honest. We will see each other when I end salvaging, or when I get too bored to complete this task. So material density on Polaris is not really good. I have already only 10 SCU of RMC, and maybe I end on this. Scraping is not my priority, and we will have a wipe before 4.0. So this is not worth my time today. But let's check something else. Okay, I am right now on the orbit of Hurston. In 3.24.3, amount of quantum fuel for the Drake Vulture is the same like in 4.0 PTU. So we are equipped with only half SCU of quantum fuel in this ship. Let's check what we can do in this ship in the Stanton, at least, because I don't have, for now, access to the PTU. And a very common practice for me is traveling from Hurston to Microtech, because I like these two planets. Sometimes I go to Crusader if I want to scrap some panels around Yela, but if I want to use the Vulture as my daily driver, I would use it in Stanton, around Hurston or Microtech, flying around the planets, checking out various POIs, looking for salvage ship, and from time to time going to the, for example, L2. If I want to jump to L2, only 1.2 gigameters. So this is not a big deal. If I want to jump to the Microtech, it's about 38 gigameters. So let's jump there and let's check out how much fuel I will have. And I have right now about 25% of quantum fuel after one long jump. And if I want to return to the Hearthstone, I need to refuel. As we see, only 0.1 SCU. So I returned to home, to New Babbage, my home location in this particular patch. I will offload all of my cargo, but I don't want to waste your time to look at me offloading cargo and selling it. I can assure you that if you have a full load inside of the Drake Vulture, about 36 SCU of RMC, if you slap these boxes everywhere in your cargo bay, you will have about 400,000 Alpha UEC income, which is pretty nice. In my opinion, Drake Vulture is very nice daily driver, especially for off-gridding, but unfortunately only in Stanton system. Mainly because in Pyro I'm assuming that you will need some serious speed and firepower to survive. This is the first thing. Second thing is very small quantum fuel tank in Drake Vulture. In Stanton it's not a big deal because you simply stick to the main planet, you fly maybe to the Lagrange point to scrap some panels, maybe to Yela if you are choosing the Crusader as your main planet. So you don't really need so much quantum fuel if you want to be a salvager or if you want to live in Stanton off-grid on the two planets with a normal surface where you can land and you can explore the POIs, so in Hearthstone and in Microtech. In Pyro you can still use it. I will test this anyway, but I am planning maybe buy this ship in Pyro instead of having this as my starter. I always starting with something cheap like Cutter or Cutter Rambler. Cutter Rambler will be probably my way to go. Maybe I switch to the Intrepid, I don't know. But I will probably buy this ship in the game, in Pyro system, or I buy Prospector because Prospector is also available in Pyro shops and Prospector have much more quantum fuel than Drake Vulture. So it's everything for today. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing. If you want to give me a tip, please check the pinned comment. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great day and bye bye.